So here's a simple question. What is the definition of a lob? As a tennis player, this should be such an easy question to answer. Somebody who doesn't play tennis asks you, what is a lob? What answer would you give them? If this is your answer, oh, it's when your opponent's at the net and you hit it over their head and you get the ball to bounce behind them. If that's your answer, I want you to tweak your answer a little bit, because that answer actually is causing you to lose so many points. The big mistake I see with recreational players when their opponent comes to the net is they avoid their opponent. They hit the lob over their head and they try to make the ball land behind them. What do? They end up hitting out all the time. What I'd rather you do, rather than valuing depth, is actually value height. I want you to get that ball in the air and see how long you can keep it in the air. So here are 3 tips that are going to help you win more points when your opponent comes to the net and you're trying to hit a lob. First, use your volley grip. So go over and use your volley grip and actually hit more of a defensive lob more often. Rather than thinking that every time you go for a lob, it's gotta be this perfect topspin lob right over your opponent's head like we see with the pros. Rather than thinking that, I'd rather you just use your volley grip and a much flatter ball that's in the air. You're actually gonna be a lot more consistent right off the bat. The second idea is to hit your lob very high. Height is more important than depth when it comes to winning points with a lob at the recreational level. The reason the pros, when we watch tennis on TV, avoid their opponent at all cost with their lob typically is because they've got Roger Federer on the other side. It's Serena Williams on the other side. If they put their racket on the ball, they're pounding it away for a winner. Those players are amazing at overheads. Your opponents are not amazing at overhead, let's just be honest. So the chances of winning the point go up if we put the ball on their racket. Don't avoid your opponent, just give them the ball. And when you hit it high, what you're actually doing is forcing them to deal with the ball, especially right now. It's like, I don't know if you can hear it in my microphone, it's pretty windy here right now today. And the sun, now they're dealing with the wind and sun, and they're having this ball that is descending rapidly as it accelerates due to gravity. So the higher you hit that ball, now they're having to deal with a ball that is very tough. And the chances of swinging and missing or framing it and hit the ball out go way up. And the last tip I want to give you, and then I'll start demonstrating here, is embrace the fact that people only hit overheads typically on one side of their body. So when you lob over them, lob high on their backhand side. And when you lob high, and you can see, maybe you can see where the cones are. I'm going to move the camera in a second here so it'll be a little easier. You can see where I've put the cones. It's on the backhand side since most of your opponents are right-handed. So it's important that you get that ball to land on the backhand side. That way, if they are going to be able to hit it, it's going to be more on their backhand and they'll screw that up often. So watch me hit these these lobs. And I'm going to hit with my volley grip. I'm going to hit the ball really high, and I'm going to try to make the ball land on my opponent's backhand side. You'll notice, by the way, I'm holding my racket up high when I'm done with my follow through. Hold your racket up. Ooh, that was right on the line. The wind is really pushing this ball to my right. So I kind of have to take that into consideration. With the wind, so I have to aim more to the middle and hope that that wind brings it back. But notice I'm not ripping topspin lobs. I'm just hitting lobs high onto the opponent's backhand side. And the longer the ball stays in the air, the more difficult it is for my opponent. That ball was just in, I think. Really high. So as I've said before, it's important that we don't avoid the opponent when they come to the net. If you involve your opponent in the point when they come to the net, the chances of winning the point actually go up. It's when you avoid them that your chances of winning go down, because you can hit the ball anywhere and the ball goes way out. So the goal is actually to involve them in the point. So I'm gonna hit some one-handers, then two-handers. And so I'll hit some one, and my goal is to hit super high onto their backhand side. And again, this is if they're right-handed. So that was a little too deep. That was good. Again, hit high lobs. There's a good one. And see if you can get it to bounce on their backhand side. I got to play the wind a little bit here. There we go. That's a great one. Super high. That was right on the baseline. Again, it's not like I don't want to hit deep. That'd be great. But I got to make sure that I hit super high. You'll notice how I'm holding the racket up with my follow through. Hit your follow through and hold your racket up like this. Don't feel like you got to hit and just stop the racket. So I want you to hold your follow through. All right, now I'll hit some two-handers, because I know not everyone likes their one-handed backhand. So hit it high, force them to mess up the timing on their overhead. You don't have to avoid your opponent. So by simply changing your definition of a lob, and that it's not that you're trying to hit it over your opponent's head and get it to bounce, but you're simply trying to get it high and embrace the fact that they're not a professional tennis player. They're not used to, especially really high lobs that they've got to time as it's descending and it's really falling through the window of opportunity to make contact quickly. Again, you win the same number of points if they screw up than it is if you hit an amazing shot. It's still 15 love. It's not like you get more. This isn't basketball where you step behind the three-point line, you get more points, so there's more value in it to take that riskier shot. It's the same number of points if you land it right on the line with a perfect lob, which is not easy to do, or you just hit it super high and let your opponent screw it up, which is much more likely to happen. So just doing that instantly gives you an advantage. Now, if you're looking for more people to use this strategy against in your local area, compete against, practice with, or even find a coach who's close to you for lessons so you can work on these high lobs, make sure you use my link in the description, playercourt.com/2minutetennis. And when you use my link, you get 50% off when you join. Start working on your volley grip, hitting it really high, and see, I didn't do it on that one, but see if you can get the ball to land on your opponent's backhand side of the court. And if you do, there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.